Hey everyone, my name's Manny. My actual legal name is Emmanuel Muniz,
All right.
but I go by Manny, and I am 36 years old. I am part of the AMB crew from Amarillo National Bank that got added to Boomfit, which has been life-saving to me.
Man, yeah. So let's start with that, Manny. Thanks for joining me today and taking time out of your busy schedule. So give me a little bit of backstory. How long have you worked for AMB, which is Amarillo National Bank?
Yes, sir. So I actually, it's been about a year and 2 months that I've been with Amarillo National Bank. I've been in banking for 10 years with different banks, but never have I worked for a bank that did something like this where they are pretty much paying for me to be part of this gym, and that is really awesome.
Yeah. So let's start back when you started working for them. Did they have something similar to this set up?
So I found out that they do pay for your gym memberships prior to this deal, and you know what? I looked into it. I went to Gold's Gym. There's like 25, no contract. And I said, you know what? I'll do that. And then A&B was paying us more than we were paying on our memberships. And then every time we had to submit a report, you know, you have to go to the website and pull your billing. And then I noticed one day it said 0 check-ins, and I was like, you know, I started feeling like I need to start going to the gym. You know, sure they're paying for it, but there was just something that didn't really click. And then this last November, they said, hey, you know what? We feel like a lot of people have a membership and they're not going. And so we don't want to pay for that. We actually want our people to be fit. We want our people to be healthy. And we have better employees when they're, you know, healthy and fit. And so then all of a sudden they said, hey, we're bringing this guy, Charlie, and he's going to talk to y'all about Boomfit. And so it's been life-saving for me.
Amazing. I mean, already for them to kind of want to cover a gym membership, even if it's a gold gym. Oh, gold gym is a great step in the right direction. And what do you think led them to going above that? Because I think what you guys are doing now, how would you describe the difference between a Gold's Gym and Boomfit?
You know, it is night and day for me. I did prior to, you know, even when I had my membership, I've tried the other gyms around town here. And, you know, I went and I tried to learn what I could, look up stuff online or workouts, and got tips from different people, but there was no consistency. I had nobody to be accountable to either. And since day one, when I came in here and they, you know, got to talk about, you know, who I am, where I'm at in life, and then you pass your on ramps, and then you get into a class and you start making buddies there and talking to others, and it's just been, there's a commitment to your friends here, your coaches. And so I've been more consistent, and I've seen just drastic changes all across health and body.
How many days a week are you coming, Manny?
Right now I'm doing 3 times a week, and it's been religiously 3 times a week.
What days do you come?
You know, it just varies. I have a morning Bible study that I give once. You know, we rotate between 4 of us, so that one I can make it out here. But and I try to change it up a little bit. Don't let that muscle memory kick in.
Yeah.
But even with just the workouts, muscle memory won't kick in. And I used to look at the workouts prior to. Now I don't look at it. I just need to go and get surprised and be like, well, I'm here, and not let my mind try to
Was
play
this
tricks
your
on me.
first experience with CrossFit workouts?
It is, and when I first met you, I asked you, "Hey, why does it have
That's
a bad
right.
rap?" You know, and it was you hear things in the gym and stuff like that. But man, so one of the things that's most impressed me so far is how we focus a lot on our core, and by default, everything else joins along with it. You know, your back, your muscles on your shoulders, your legs, everything. A lot of legs. That's what I've been struggling a lot with, soreness on my legs. But I got some good tips from Coach Jacob earlier.
Yeah.
So,
So where do you think? Because I remember that conversation. It was at the bank, and you had asked me about CrossFit and kind of this the injury, and you didn't want to get hurt, which I fully understand. Where had you created that thought from prior to coming in the doors?
you know, I saw a lot of the people do like CrossFit online, not online, but like friends on Facebook and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I'd see they lose weight, and then, all of a sudden they stop posting for a little while. And so I wasn't too sure, I wasn't also like very comfortable with, it just felt like they knew what they were doing. And then I kind of felt like I didn't know what I was going to do in front of other people, and I really just kind of secluded myself, just going by the gym and just doing my biceps, my triceps, my legs, have a day for each. And then kind of fell into that whole, what I was mentioning earlier, this whole muscle memory thing. And it was effective, maybe the first couple months, and then it was just like I wasn't feeling sore anymore. Like my body would get used to it. Here, my body does not know what it's going to do every day that I come out here, but it, and it feels great though. It's a real good soreness.
Yeah, and what's interesting is even in the Amarillo home office, they have a CrossFit gym at the bank, and from we'll call it from the main office all the way down here, they specifically encourage the CrossFit program. And that to me was very unique, right? It's not like, hey, just go find group classes or just go find, like they really want employees to, find a CrossFit gym or they partner with a CrossFit gym and encourage them to go. And I thought that was unique.
Yeah. And what was really awesome about that too is that the gym membership was really only for like management and up, or full-time employees, I'm sorry. And now even our tellers are included in this deal where they can come out here and join and do the same thing, which is really, really awesome. I'm actually excited. Next week or 2 weeks from now, I'll be going to Amarillo and getting to meet the mothership.
Awesome.
And so I'm excited to see their facility and their CrossFit place as well. But yeah, this company is a family owned. I've worked for big corporate banks, but man, working with a family owned bank is just different. They really do care for not only their employees and their customers, just everything is just really great about the whole situation now that we're...
Oh, you can feel it. So how has this dynamic kind of overflowed into the workplace? I know you guys have 4 branches here. Y'all meet, I think at the main office or the main branch occasionally. We have a lot of you coming into the gym. I mean, how has this overflowed out into the work environment?
Well, in my branch, it's in total is 6 of us, and we just about every day we had a conversation either about the workout, either about what we're eating, what's worked, where we had like bunch of Cokes and Sprites and junk food, chips. Now we're like trying to find like healthier snacks, like maybe some jerky, and we have stevias and just different stuff that we've changed like our diet. And now I have my protein there on top of the fridge, and so it's been really changing for everybody. And then sometimes they're like, well, what's the workout today? I was like, I don't even want to tell you. Just show up. And so we have this friendly competition going on right now. So I get to motivate my team to keep coming out here. And so far our team's in the lead. And so we're excited about that. But it really has helped to kind of motivate each other. And I feel there's a little more energy, a little more, just about all that. Just even having those conversations, it's great. And Joyce is one of them that's just coming a lot, and I'm really excited for her. She's trying really hard, and so yeah, it's one of those things that it's just kind of really shaped up our branches where we're having these types of conversation and we're eating better.
Yeah. So for somebody who's maybe not started that, is working at the bank for various reasons. Maybe they were kind of waiting for January, or we have some of you that are not, some of the AMB people that just haven't gotten started. How can you speak to the process to them? Like, give me a brief overview from your on-ramps to starting in classes. You've got your in-bodies right in front of you. Give me a little bit of kind of a snapshot for that person to know, hey, here's what to expect.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it was kind of getting over maybe that fear of like, well, you're going to go into this whole group setting and, maybe you don't feel like you're the healthiest person to be out there, or it could be different situations. For me, it was kind of like coming out here, and I hadn't been in a gym for about 2 years. I felt weak in my body myself. And so one of the things that I kept mentioning earlier that this has been life-saving is that I'm actually diabetic. I had an experience in life where I lost my first wife to cancer. This was about 7 years ago, and she was 29, and the good Lord called her early. But and so I have a daughter as well, and through this whole process, I was just stressed out, and then my blood sugars just went up. And since then, I've been on an incline where I've lost, a lot of weight unhealthy because of this diabetes disease that just kept eating away at my muscles, eating away at my, everything. And so I came in a little intimidated in a way, like, and sure enough, a couple of the sessions after my on-ramps were great, just to kind of get a one-on-one with a coach, which I would encourage anybody that starts. You're going to be one-on-one with somebody. It's not like you're going to be in a group and not know what you're doing. They actually focus 3 sessions with you to see where you're at and get to know you. And when I finally got into one of the classes, I did notice there was a girl here that was lifting a little more than me, and so I come over and I'm like, hey, how long you been doing this? And they're like, oh, I've been doing it for 8 years. I'm like, okay, it's I'll get there at some point.
Right.
But no, it was definitely something that I needed. I've had great progress. I just did an in-body scan for my 3 months. We did a little early because I wanted to have some material for today's podcast, but I almost got emotional when Jacob was like, what? This is amazing. I was like, man, and it was so great to see how hard work has paid off, and it's only coming 3 times a week. I'm trying to see if I can come out here 4 or 5 times a week. My body, where I've been and where I'm at right now, can take 3 days right now. I've had to need some of those weekend, 2-3 days weekends where my body can kind of recuperate. And then, man, I came back last Monday, like ready to go from that ice storm weekend.
Yeah.
I ended up having 4-day rest there, but I came in and ready to go. But we did this in body, and I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of where we were when I started. So one of the greatest things that I was encouraged by was like back when I worked out of the gym, I was always getting on the scale, and living by the scale. And you hit a plateau. You would drop the first week, 10 pounds, and then it was just like, well, what's going on? I'm not dropping anymore, right? Well, when I first got in here, I was at 186 pounds. 2.5 months into it, I do my next in-body scan. I'm up 10 pounds.
Wow.
Yes, and so this is what I love about the in-body, because it's stuff that you don't get at the gym. At your normal average Joe gym, you do not get any of this stuff unless you pay a whole lot more extra for this. So I'm up 10 pounds, but from there, he broke it down for me. Since day one, I've gained 7.4 pounds of muscle, and I've lost 3 pounds of body fat.
Wow.
And so I was just like, I kind of got a little emotional. I was like, okay, and that's only 3 days a week. Imagine what it could be if I'm been able to come out 5 days a week. So I would encourage anybody just to come out, from our team, from anybody. If you can come out 2 days, 1 day, just get here, just get moving, like you said, and
that's so great. And I mean, would you say, how much exercise were you doing prior to this?
So I wasn't really exercising.
Okay. That's
the last year since COVID actually hit. I had not done any exercising, and I had lost weight, but this chronic disease was, not. It was in a healthy way. So now I've gained some weight, but it's been muscle, and I've lost, body fat, which is the goal.
Well, and that's such a good point, Manny. I love that you brought this up, because so many people look at the scale, and that becomes, to be honest with you, the indication to them whether they're winning or losing. And they automatically interpret weight loss as winning and automatically interpret weight gain as losing. Mm-hmm. And even weight loss, to a degree, they interpret as more is better, right? If I lost 10 pounds, it's better than I lost 5 pounds. And they have zero understanding if the weight they're losing is fat or muscle, or if the weight they're gaining is fat or muscle. Right. And so for you, it obviously is working. Can you tell a difference? Apart from seeing the numbers?
I couldn't do a push-up when I first got here on day one, and push-ups are getting real easy now.
Yeah.
and so, and you know what? It's different, because at the gym, I always try to, every week push myself and get something heavier. Here, it's you don't have to go heavy. You just what you can, and you can build up a little bit. There's days where you can try to do your 85%, your 90%, but and I haven't had a full experience. I've been here 3 months, 3 times a week, but there's so many more workouts where I'll probably get to try to do my max or something like that, right? But just even with the little bit of weight that I've started with, it's been way different. I feel it in my body. I feel stronger. I've actually, and I shared this with Jacob, my blood sugar, I took a test on it. I was averaging, and this might be like concerning, but prior to coming out and doing all this, I actually stopped checking my blood sugars because the last time I checked, like 6 months ago, it was like at 400 and something, which is
really high.
Really high, yeah. I mean, you can go to like a coma at those kind of rates. I just took this last one that I took a couple days ago. I was down to 117.
Wow,
and
that's more impressive than the body composition.
Yeah, no, and I shared with my dad. And my dad is actually going through the same. He's lost a lot of body, and so I'm actually working with him, trying to get him to drink more protein, to do different things that have the protein has been also a big lifesaver where it curbs that appetite. You're not. When I come around lunch, it's not like I'm starving and I want to get the first burger I can get my hands on. It's like make better decisions because that protein keeps me full. That I was like, I can eat a salad.
Explain that to me because most people probably were where you were before, but it sounds like you have now either been informed, maybe Jacob's kind of helped you, kind of learned something that you didn't know before because now you have protein at work. It sounds like your protein intake's gone up, blood sugar's gone down, muscles, gone up. So it's no coincidence. You did something, not just with your diet, but with your workouts. So give me an insight as to where you were in your knowledge of how much protein you were eating, awareness of how much protein you're eating, and then at what point did you learn something that changed behavior?
So I started drinking protein again when I got in here. Prior to that, I tried it maybe a couple months, years back. I just thought protein was for muscle building only and like for big dudes that lift, weights and stuff like that. And I didn't have an understanding. And this is what's great about having a coach, And so one time I had Jacob, I said, hey man, how much protein? And so he threw me back in the InBody, it was like a weekend or something, just because he wanted to see look at my body, my body type. And then he was like, you need to be consuming like 160 grams of protein a day. I'm like, what? Like I thought 50 was good. Is like, well, anything is good, but no, for you and where you're at, you need to consume 160. I was like, wow, how the heck am I going to do that? So I started now looking at everything that has protein, right? How can I consume more protein? And I started doing that because the knowledge that he shared was some of those things, it'll help curb your appetite. And so you're not hungry all the time and you're just trying to, get to that point where you just want to eat anything that you can find or get your hands on. And so that's what was my type of lunch every day prior to this was just go get a burger and then that at 12 and then at 2 o'clock you're like looking at the clock like I'm sleepy, I'm ready to go go home, and it's different. I'll have a protein shake right after my workout. I'll try to have maybe some eggs or an oatmeal later on that day, and then at lunch hour I'll have something, some chicken and broccoli, or I'll find a salad or find just different things. And even with this, like I'm learning every day more and more stuff. Like this morning I shared with him, it's like, hey, you told me to eat carbs in the morning before I come out here. So I had a piece of toast with peanut butter. Like, no, don't have peanut butter. I'm like, so it's still a learning process, and I'm still consuming some of those things on the weekends. I'll have my little cheat meal with the family after church or something. But I've still seen results, because it's get your butt out here,
That's
you
right.
Start moving and little by little you start making better decisions. But the protein has been, and it's a challenge to consume 160 grams of protein a day. But, you kind of start writing things down. I have a notebook where I like to write, okay, I had this, I had that, I had my protein shake, which is, and you find a lot of the stuff like now I add, almond cashew milk, which has 10 more grams of protein to my shake. Stuff like that. That's been kind of challenging and exciting but I've seen the results and I know it works. And so that's where I'm excited to see what's next.
No, I love it. Give me a backstory, I guess, at any point in your previous 20 years, have you been this consistent with exercise?
Not consistent. I did start working out a little bit after my first wife passed away. I think after a year and a half or two, I was kind of like, I asked my daughter if she was okay if I started, maybe talking to a couple girls or here or there. And she's like, no, Dad, I don't want you to. So I hit the gym. I wanted to get in shape and, supposedly have, what I would say better opportunities. But God has a plan for everyone. I am remarried. I have 2 boys with my wife now. I met her through working. Funny story, I actually interviewed her to work for Wells Fargo. And this was prior to my first wife passing, and there was no spark there or anything.
Yeah.
It was just a normal interview. I actually liked her the way she was, like her character, and so when she walked out, actually Baylor was there with me. We were interviewing her. We both worked at Wells Fargo, and he said, so she walks out of the interview. I let Baylor do the whole interview thing, and then she walks out, and I said dibs. And Baylor's like, "No, come on, man, come on. You know I need her. You know, I need a Spanish speaker."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nah, man, I got dibs here." And then he's like, "Please, please." I said, "Let's finish the interviews, and I'll take the best one. After we're done." She was the best one of the day, so Baylor begged a little bit. I just said that, and he said, "Come on." And I said, "All right, man, rock paper scissors." And I lost to rock paper scissors. But God had a purpose because she didn't come work for me. If she would have worked for me, probably nothing ever would have materialized from that. But God had timings on all this and put her in my way after a couple years after my wife had passed. And now we have 2 boys.
How old are your boys?
The youngest is 3. He just turned 3 in December. And then that's Max. And then Zeke is going to turn 5 this March.
Yeah, so you got young boys, and like for you right now, you're young. You're 36 years old. So do you feel like you found something that you can stick with long term? And how do you think that will help you with aging and taking care of your boys and as they grow older and stay active, and obviously your daughter?
It's funny you bring that up because you always have to have a why. Why am I doing this? And I just last week I hit a wall where I was like, and that's where I had those 4 days. It was like perfect timing with the closing of the eyes thing and all that. Or we closed it. I was kind of hitting a wall, and I talked to Jacob. I was like, I just need a motivation. And this was really motivating to pull the in-body scan again and giving me where I was standing. But then, one of the things you were asking about my children is like, I was always playing sports growing up. I loved playing, football, basketball, soccer. I would always play, and I was always a bigger kid with athletic ability in a way.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be, the flat stomach, and I've been a chunky kid since I was 8 years old, and so I never really could see a flat stomach. That's actually one of my goals now.
Okay.
And I really feel like they're obtainable with what I've seen and what I've learned here. But my kids are one of those whys, they just joined the little kids soccer, league thing. And I just joined the soccer league this season as well. I'm excited to get back out there and see what, the gym's done for me. But that's one of my whys. I want to be healthy enough where I can play with them, where I can push them through middle school and high school when they're playing, when they're, those are some of the things that motivate me. And I don't want to be, this unhealthy father that probably can't even make a game or something, or I don't know where the diabetes could have taken me if I didn't make life changes. I couldn't sit down and have a meal without a Coke.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola was the hardest thing that I had to have, 1 at lunch and maybe 2 at dinner. Since I've started coming here, I've not had a single Coke. Not at all.
So this was up until recently.
Yeah. Yes.
So everything you just said, I feel like I'm relating to you more and more. I was a chubby kid growing up. I played sports, but I tell people I didn't have a flat stomach. And I will say this, it's possible. That's, if you read all my emails that I send you, that's kind of one of my goals is to really communicate to people that it is possible. I mean, if a fat kid like me can run, a marathon and, own a gym, I think anybody can do it. I always tell people I'm like the Apostle Paul of fitness. I had a 180-degree turn at 18 years old. And so another thing I want to mention is I have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 6-year-old boy.
Okay.
Boys.
Okay.
And then I have a 9-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And I will say this, I'm 40, so I'm just a little bit ahead of you. But I love the idea, we work out. I coach their football team. I coach their baseball team. I'm out there pushing them, and it's funny because at the ages they're at now, the thought of them beating me in any athletic feat is like, I got them.
Yeah.
But I know that's not going to be forever. And I think as dads, we want to keep up with them, right? The last thing we want to do, our boys are active, and even my daughter, they are they're just machines, like the
they're full of
Energizer
energies,
Bunny,
yeah.
man. They
Oh,
don't, they want to go, go, go. And I think, as you go into this next really decade of your life, and your boys are going to go from being 3 and 5 to 13 and 15, you got to be doing this, like to give you more why, right? To give you your purpose is like, man, when you're doing this, you can do that, right? And I really believe, being just turned 40 last week, that, as you age, exercise is, it's almost like a daily pill of youth, right? It doesn't mean that my age is going backwards, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to age. I mean, the biology of my body is human, and it will continue to age, and things will deteriorate. But at the same time, every day you exercise is a pill, right? It's going to keep you younger in your mind, in your thoughts.
Exactly.
The exercise itself is truly the fountain of youth, right? And so I love kind of that you tie that to your purpose, because I think sometimes we can kind of ask ourselves, why are we here?
Yeah.
Why are we working out? Why am I keeping on eating chicken and eggs and protein, or whatever your diet consists of? And so it goes back to, there's a bigger why. You're never just here for the weights. Like,
correct.
It's not about scoring a fast time or lifting up something really heavy. For us, that why is building better people. I believe that exercise makes every human being on the planet a better version of themselves. And I think your home office agrees with that, because they're investing in their employees to exercise so that they can become better versions of yourself. So give me a little bit, going back to your workouts. You come to 6 a.m., right?
Yes.
So give me a little bit I know that group, you probably come to know them pretty well. Like, give me a little bit of the dynamic in the 6 a.m. class, and kind of some just memories or thought that come to mind whenever you're thinking through it.
Yeah, so I like, and I haven't been to, besides, I came to the 5 a.m. maybe once or twice, and it was like, I think all A and B people at the 5 a.m. And which was cool. I wish I could join them, but it's not that I can't get up early there, because I told them, man, I was up at 4, I was up at 4:30, and they're like, well, you should come at the 5. I was like, I like to have a little alone time with God and prayer and read a little scripture, but. So I make it at the 6 a.m. and it's really nice to see that we have a good mix. So that, there's a little bit of older folks, there's a little bit of younger folks, there's a little bit, people around my age, and you learn a little bit from a lot of them. And one particular situation was where they teamed us up for a workout with other people there, and I got a guy that was on my team, and he was a little bit bigger guy, chunky, and I was like, okay, you know what? And I'm very competitive. I was like, I probably can beat this kid, like I got to try, And man, he was pushing me. He was like, come on, man, you got this. He was like, man, how this guy has all this? Like, how does he do this? It's awesome to see. He had stamina. He had, and he's been out here longer. I'm just the competitiveness in me. But I also realized that, when I even saw, like I had mentioned earlier, some girls lifting more or about the same weight where I'm at, because they always make suggestions, the men this weight, the women this weight. I'm like, darn it. But I'm not competing against anybody here. And nobody's made me feel like they're trying to outdo me, or when I'm the last one to try to finish, they're pushing me. They're like, come on, you got this, motivating me. And it's, we were doing some burpees the other day, and the team, everybody was done. I was the last one to try to finish the burpees, and one of the girls from her bike, she was kind of cooling down, and she's like, "Come on, man, you got it, you got it." I was like, and that actually pushed me to finish. Even like I was like, if I was alone at the gym, I was done. My workout was down. I was feeling it. I was like, on my abs, it already hurts. And she was like, "You got this." Like, man, she's pushing me. So I threw myself back down there and did my last 3 burpees that I needed to do. It's really cool. And so I'm actually out here competing against myself,
Yes.
and this is what's great about the InBody. I have goals that I want to meet. I can see it on paper, but also, I'm starting to write down, how much did I do on this? How much weight was it? So I can push myself on the next. And I'm not there to compete with another girl or compete with another dude or anything, And it gets a little competitive in a way, but that's just, the competitiveness isn't in me. But now I know or understand that everybody's there to help each other. And
And once you, I don't know the psychology behind every person in the gym. But once you understand that what you just said, that you're not competing against anyone in the room, you're just working out and you're pushing your best. You're doing what your body allows for that day.
Right.
Because it's good to want to go hard, but then when you start just wanting to compete, it can become unhealthy because then you're not happy if you don't win.
Yeah.
Or you start kind of judging yourself like, oh, this person's stronger than me, or this
Correct.
person's better than me. And it's just kind of an unhealthy game. It's good to push and it's good to I would say be competitive, but you're not competing against anybody in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll start identifying, oh, okay, me and this guy are kind of close. And but I love what you said about being encouraged by other people and how you ended up getting to another place physically that you weren't at before. And that's, the power of other people in the room.
Exactly.
When somebody starts speaking to you and encouraging you, there's a great book Dr. Henry Cloud wrote. It's called The Power of the Other. And he talks about these Navy SEALs in BUD/S training that are literally at the end of their physical capabilities, and they're sleep deprived. They have, been in the ocean and it's freezing, and then they get up and they have to finish with this long run. And they get to the last mile and a half and they have nothing left. And right there, somebody's like, hey, come on, you can do it. And just that, what it pushes them into the physically is you can't even explain that.
Yeah.
It's just the power of other people. And that we see that every day in the gym.
Yeah. I experienced that. I was telling you, if I was by myself at the gym doing those burpees, I would have been done. That was it. Like, okay, my body took enough. But just that, come on, Manny, you got this. It was a world of difference.
Wow.
I pushed through it, and I did my last 3 that I would have given up by myself.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're mentioning there. It's just it's a world of difference.
Well, this is great, Manny. Last question. Title of the podcast is called Building Better People. As I mentioned before, that's really the why behind Boomfit. Mm-hmm. It's what wakes us up every day. It's what makes us want to have a beautiful gym, what makes us want to have the best coaches. It's what makes us want to have a facility that is welcoming and friendly. It's because we believe that when you show up and you exercise, you become a better version of yourself. Yeah. And so we want to create an environment for a lot of people to want to come work out. So how is that true for you? How has you starting these workouts, in the last 3 months, made Manny a better version of Manny?
It has a lot to do with the staff as well here. Since day one, I walking in the door, oh, are you Manny? Welcome, and I was like, I was expected, obviously we had set a time for my on-ramps, and they were expecting me, but they, mentioned my name. And then every morning since is like, good morning, Manny, whoever's in the entrance, and I'm like, oh, they remember my name. And then it was just been that one-on-one experience on the on-ramps, just to kind of talk a little bit about yourself, where you're at, maybe some goals you have, maybe you don't have any goals. But the purpose is to get to know you and make you feel comfortable. And again, once you get to know the team out there working out with other people, getting to know you learn a little bit from everyone and get a little bit of here and there. But the coaching has been on point with, the follow-ups and all that. And so it's been life-changing for me. First, I was talking about that, chronic disease of that diabetes, which, very optimistic with what Coach Jacob was talking about with me last time. It's like, we can't say you're going to get healed, but you can really control a lot of those things with a good diet and good exercise. And I've seen the results. Like I said, I'm excited that I'm not scared to go poke my finger again and try it and see where I'm at again.
Yeah.
And so it's making me better, healthy. It's making me better, back at home. Right now we're not in a financial situation where I can have a membership for my 15-year-old daughter and my wife. And so what I'm doing is I'm learning a lot here. And now we have I just bought, yesterday actually, I bought a wall ball at Academy. And then I've been doing little workouts with them with some dumbbells and just little stuff that I've learned here. I get to take back home and do with my, show to my daughter and my wife. And
love it.
And, I'm kind of helping them too, kind of coaching them as well, and so it's exciting. So it's making better. We're eating healthier. Both my wife and I. She's cooking better stuff. Every now and then she has to make, the little spaghetti for the boys. You know.
Yeah.
But we'll have our chicken, and we'll try different ways, or we'll do fish, or we'll do even our red meats. I went from. It's really tough. I'll say that's kind of like my one-time cheat every now and then is a nice juicy ribeye steak.
Yeah.
But now I'm just changing over to lean meats and stuff like that. But it's still, it's still enjoyable. And with all that protein intake too that I've had with my drinks, I enjoy my foods. When I was prior to coming out here and I was really sick with this whole diabetic thing, I would just eat because of the motions. I was never really hungry. I knew it was lunch hour, and then I would eat a little bit and get really full real easy. And the meals weren't. Now I'm actually every meal I eat, I'm like, this is so good, and I'm actually eating a little bit more than what I was eating prior to, but because I'm healthy, because my muscles are growing, because my body's changing, and it's exciting. So it's that building better people is a true statement, and the accountability is where it's at.
Thanks, Manny. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely.